Hi everybody, Kim from Oz here. Now this video I'm making today is really just a real discussion about some of the things that have been on my mind, and especially about the future of what I want to do with my organizer. And many of you have followed these videos, and thank you so much for all the wonderful comments and suggestions and sharing about your journey as well. And I guess, and I've mentioned this quite a few times in my blog and also on my channel, the use of this organizer is really an ongoing work in motion. It never ends. But what I want to try and do, my whole aim is to have something that really works for me. And I'm really appreciating all the videos that I watch on YouTube and Filofax blog, and also the Filofax Facebook page, and just listening and reading a whole lot of what people do. And I admire so many of you for how you can make your system work well, and sharing your struggles as well as how happy you are with the way you've got your setup. I seem to want to try and have something that just works for me, and trying to find out exactly what I want. Now at this particular point, as I make this video, I'm in a bit of a quandary because I'm just really not too sure where to go. So what I've got here, and you're pretty familiar with this one, this is the Colin Debden day planner that I've used on almost all my videos, and I found this really has been marvelous, and it's quite an expensive one, and I've used this for many years. And as I've made it my own and growing in lots of different ways, what I found is that these are 30mm rings, and it was just getting too big. There was just too much in it, and part of the ease of using a day planner for me is to have the the pages that flow well, that I can find with the tabs quite easily. And what I've actually done here, and then you might think, well, oh well, the pages turn quite well. I've actually removed maybe maybe 1 centimeter worth of paper out of this, because it was just getting so full that I could hardly turn the pages, and it was ending up a bit like that. So what did I do? Well, I thought, well, some of you have been really great in having diaries just for work and for home and for many other different purposes. So I thought, well, that might be the answer. So what I did was purchased very cheaply just a second binder, and again this is a Colin Debden one, and almost identical to the one I've got. It's a zipper and 30mm rings. It's not a leather one, it's just a pleather one. It's quite a nice look, and it just it feels a bit like leather, but you can tell it's not. And so what I did was place all of my work items in this one, and then for my original leather one would just leave all of my own family, personal, journal, finances, anything to do with home would be here, and then in my work one I'd place everything there. And that was actually quite nice, especially for work, because I had quite a lot of more room and space, and I got some more inserts, and these are the Debden inserts, and there was quite a lot more room to write things for work, so that worked really well. The only problem is that at work there were often times where I would actually think of something for home, or maybe pay a bill during lunchtime, or some sort of integrated idea that I really needed to place in my home Filofax. So I'd have this work one on my desk and this in my briefcase, but eventually by the end of the week I ended up with both of these sitting on my desk, which was really defeating the purpose, because I ended up having less space to work with. And I just found too that when I left this at work, because I didn't want to take this home, I left this at work, things for work I'd still be writing in here as well, and it just didn't work for me. So I didn't pay very much for this, and so I put this one aside and went back to using this as a work diary and everything as well. So then I thought, okay, I'll be a bit smart, and maybe to cut down on the bulk of the pages to just reduce the size of the pages down a bit. I'll take away and separate out just maybe the personal things for me, my journal, my planning, my drawings, my ideas, and I do a lot of thinking on paper, and so I removed that. And just by chance I happened to find on eBay a almost identical leather Debden binder again. This is beautiful leather zip as well, and it's almost in mint condition as well. And in here I took, and here you can see some of these personal files there, and you can see the thickness that's there of the things that I would just personally mine, and I would place those in there, and I would work with the two. So this was at home on my shelf, and then I had this at work, and you know, during the day this was my active useful Filofax. But what I found was, again, the separation didn't work, and sometimes when I was wanting to do some journaling, I'd have pieces of journal paper in here that I was transferring to here, and it just didn't work. It really was just, I ended up at home having both of these sitting on the desk because I would use them at various times, and it just really, separating it out just didn't work for me. So although I love this, and it's just great leather bound, and again very, very cheap, I didn't spend a lot of money on that, and I'll still keep this and use it for filing, but that didn't work as well. So what was my next quest? Well, I thought perhaps I need more room, so I again looked online and ended up with this, which is a Franklin Covey 40mm, and you can see, well, look at these rings, they're just huge, 40mm rings, and I thought at least that extra 10mm may actually provide me with the room I need. So I pulled everything from here, shock horror, everything from the other one, placed it all in together, and I had everything at my fingertips in one place. It had a pen loop on either side, so big I have to move it out of the frame. One pen loop there, one there, credit cards and so on. And this was actually bought from a lady who'd retired from business, and she spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on this one, and she just sold it very, very, very cheaply. And I told her I'd give her a good home. And there's lots of pockets, and it was a great, it still had its leather smell after all the years that she used it. And what I found was it was just way too big. Now if I measure it up against my original one, if you can see, if I just bring the camera up a little bit, let's have a look. It's quite a lot bigger, and it's quite a lot wider, probably another 2 centimeters wide down here, and really quite thicker. So if I can hold the two there, you can see it was just too big. And when I was carrying this 40mm ring around, it was almost carrying a briefcase. It was just, you know, it's got to feel right, and it was just way too big. And when I opened it, it would take up more space, and so it's a huge binder. And it really, although it did hold everything really well, again the size, it just didn't work for me, and it was just too bulky. So again, I didn't spend a lot of money on this, so I'm not too worried, but I ended up taking everything back out again and placing it back into the good old diary that everyone's familiar with. So here I am still today, back here with this particular day planner. So is that the end of the story? Well, no, not really. Because this is a 7-ring Colin Debden folder, I've been involved with the Filofax community, and of course, although I mean they're almost identical except for the rings and just a few other subtle things, it really wasn't a Filofax. And I thought perhaps too it might be time for me to see whether the Filofax brand could provide me with something that maybe it would even be better. So I ended up getting one of these. This is the Apex, and I want to have a big thank you to my lovely friend who sent this to me, and I want to just say thank you so much for sending this binder to me, and it's just wonderful. It feels great. It is very different to the Colin Debden products, and the quality is really quite good. Now, of course, we know that we can't actually use Filofax inserts into these, so I was really restricted to the Collins Debden inserts and maybe a few others, or printing my own. Never really happy with that. And I did do a video too on creating my own dividers, and although they're quite good, the quality of them is, you know, they're photocopies and label making labels glued onto pieces of cardboard, and you know, it was okay, and it did its purpose. But once I got my hands on a Filofax, it got me thinking, and I don't know whether it was a good or bad thing. But what I did find was, apart from the feel of the binder, the actual feel of the paper and the inserts, to write on these, it's just really different, and you can actually feel the quality of these inserts. So I ended up purchasing a whole range of different things to use in here, and what I've got at the back here is the Filofax week on 2 pages, and started to just write some things out. And what I did was I really just tried to write and see how the pen flowed on the paper, and you can see here I've just done a little bit of a go at writing on here, and the difference for using photocopy paper or the other inserts compared to the Filofax paper, it just feels better on the pen. Now, the only downside is, and probably there's many of you would agree with me, is that the things on the paper, the printed page, and of course it caters for international customers, but having 5 different words up here for April, and all of this writing to accommodate different languages, it's driving me up the wall. I don't like it. It's to me, it's just cluttering up. I just want, you know, one date that I can read, and the year and the day, and so on. And so the inserts here were quite, I don't know, it just really doesn't grab me. I tried looking at the vertical week as well, in case maybe that system might suit me. It didn't. I still think this works well. So I kept looking around, and I actually found another set of inserts from Kiki K, and I'll just show you an example here. And again, it's very good, but it gives you lots of space. Try and bring it a bit closer for you to see. It gives you lots of space. It doesn't have, and one of my pet peeves is wasting space, especially down here with calendars, which I would never ever really use at all. And if you look at the page, the Kiki K has it all there in one glance. But the good thing is too, it's made of very nice quality paper. Probably, I don't know, maybe 60 GSM or 70, I'm not sure. It's very nice to write on, and I started to think maybe I need to be looking at quality as well. And also at Kiki K, I ended up finding these really nice inserts here, and being a sort of a blokey bloke, I like the plain colours, and they've actually got them in this nice grey. And I put my label maker to use, and I've actually got labels there. And one of the things I decided to do was to also streamline. Instead of stuffing everything, maybe just start to have 6 inserts. And I really like these dividers too, because they're actually, for instance, this is the 5th one, and it goes all the way down to there. So instead of having the little tabs, which in my other black one is starting to fray already from use, this provides extra strength. So I'm starting to say I like it. I really do like this. I like the fact that it's good quality paper. I think that being Filofax 2, it's also you know, the ring mechanisms are quite good, the leather is quite good. Now the Apex is not top of the range, and the reason I think this is a great one to start with is it helps me to get the feel of it. Now I have my eyes set on a more expensive version, which I'm always on the lookout for, but at this point the opportunity to use an A5 binder from Filofax was given to me to take that opportunity, and so I'm trialing it out. And I guess instead of spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a binder that I find I may not like, this actually helps me to work out exactly what I want. So here's a little bit of what I've been looking at the moment. Quality binders, and the look for me, and again, you know, I really admire the colourful, creative ways people have organised themselves and got their binders together. But for me, and I've just trialed this writing, and of course it's a little bit boring, I'd put a bit more into it, but I'm just trialing how my pen, the friction, the black friction, I'm using a 0.5 pen for this black. It feels really nice. It feels easy to write in, and turning of the pages, and I'm starting to think that that aspect is important for me. So there's my journey end there. Well, no, not yet. Because I'm going to be trialing this, you're still using my leather Collins Debden planner. I'm not going to be throwing myself totally into the Apex yet, but I'm carrying it around because it's starting to get closer to what I want. However, the question arose in my mind, is A5 where I should be? And many years ago I had a smaller personal size, and again on eBay I found this really wonderfully cheap domino, and I won't say how much it was, but it was almost hardly any price at all. And so I got some again some Kiki K and some Debden inserts that are quite cheap to buy, and trialed this one as well. And what I did realize with this one is that it's probably a bit too small for me. Now, the amount of money I spent on this, you need to hold it, you need to feel it, you need to know. There's a whole list of things, criteria for me. The thing is holding it, carrying it. Now this is great. This is a personal size, and it's also just very convenient. I'm used to carrying the A5, but this one just sort of sits in the hand much better, and I like the fact that you can put everything in there. And also I ended up finding some nice Kiki K dividers that were fitting this size. I think they have, this is called the medium range, and I was experimenting, and this is just a greeting card that I cut down to size, and I've also got a hole punch for this particular Filofax size, and just seeing whether this would work for me. Now, I'm not crossing this off my list yet. However, I guess the factor is I do need to write quite a bit, and whether my handwriting, which is quite large, actually suits this size or not. I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to carry this around as well and use it and trial it out. And I think, you know, the whole bottom line for this video is to just talk about trialing things. Now, again, I haven't gone to great expense, and I think that it's almost like buying a very used car to try and just see whether it fits size wise and whatever. So my journey is moving on. So at the moment you'd see me carrying around both of these, and I'll do a video update later on just to show you where I've gone to, and who knows, it could be another binder altogether, or maybe I'll have fully Filofaxed myself, or stay with the 7-ring Collins Debden. It's a journey. So this has been a very long video, but I really want to thank you for just listening and thinking and helping me to try and decide what to do. Do I throw everything out and then start again as with the Filofax? Or do I keep going and maybe reduce and be a bit smarter in creating this 7-ring binder and making it just a bit more personalized? Who knows? Thanks for watching anyway, and please make some comments. So tell me what you think, or contact me, or go to my blog. All the details are down there. So once again, Kent from Oz saying love you all. Thank you for everything that you've the comments and just helping me enjoy being in the Filofax community. So Kent from Oz saying thanks for watching, and see you soon.